So I just got back from the Apple store and I picked up, of course, the iPad along with the Apple Pencil. While I was there, I did have a play around with the new iPad Pro, and I can tell you that this device was definitely the right choice, especially for the money. So following on from yesterday's video where I said, do not buy the M4 iPad Pro, I figured I'd put my money where my mouth is and go ahead and order an iPad today. Which is what we're going to do right now. I'm going to show you some tips and tricks as I go ahead and configure my iPad order. So you can see here we are on Google, and I'm just going to type in Apple Education Store and head over to the Apple Education Store, which is the second one here on the Google search. And this is going to take us to, in the address bar, you'll see apple.com/au-edu store, where you get yourself a 10% discount if you're buying for education purposes. Now I'm going to jump ahead and click on the iPad section. And what we'll see here is we have, of course, the new iPad Pro and iPad Air that have a significant discount compared to the regular retail pricing. And then, of course, you have the iPad as well, which we're going to buy right now. This iPad, if you're buying it retail, is $599, but buying it on the education store, you do get that $40 off. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one right now, just like I did recommend yesterday. It's going to take you to the same page as we were on yesterday, where you can go ahead and pick your color. So I'm going to select on blue because I think the blue looks the nicest. In terms of storage space, well, I'm going to do a lot of things through iCloud. So I am not going to pay the almost $200 for that 256 gig SSD. I'm going to stick to the base model here of 64 gigs. I would love to have it with cellular, but then I'd have to pay for a SIM card and I'd have to pay almost $300 more for that cellular connectivity. So for the amount of times I'd use it with a SIM card, I don't think it's worth the money. So I'm going to select on the Wi-Fi only option. And because I want to pick it up today, I am not going to add any engraving, but I do think if this is a present or if you don't mind waiting, adding engraving is a really nice touch. To show you what that looks like, I'm just going to pop in Aldo James Tech Tips. And you'll see here that it gives you a preview of what that could look like on your own iPad, and you can personalize it. But because I don't want to wait that 2 weeks for the delivery, I'm going to go no engraving. Now, when it comes to adding the Apple Pencil, you have two choices here. The first one is the Apple Pencil with USB-C, which is, it's newer and it's a little bit cheaper. Or you have the first generation Apple Pencil. I'm going to select on the, or of course, no Apple Pencil. If I select on first gen Apple Pencil, you see the image here as we scroll up shows the Apple Pencil sitting next to the iPad. And this one charges through the Lightning port. And in the image here, it's not connected, but I actually want the USB-C version because if I go through the images again, you'll see at the top, it actually magnetically attaches to the iPad. So I would go for the Apple Pencil with USB-C just for the convenience of connecting it via USB-C to charge it, as well as the ability to just magnetically attach it to your iPad as well. Plus, it is a little bit cheaper too. As I scroll through, I was really tempted. I'm like, well, if I'm buying an iPad, I might as well add the keyboard with it. There is a Logitech keyboard, which is a lot cheaper and it works really well. The Apple Magic Keyboard Folio is really nice, but it is almost half the price of the iPad. And I want to use this computer or use this device mainly as a tablet and not as a computer, which when I built this before, I was like, well, I'll keep it as I'll add the keyboard. Then I thought, no, if I want the keyboard, I'll always add it in later or buy it at another date. And that will save me 360 bucks. So I'd recommend as you're building and buying any products, not just an iPad, definitely think about what you're going to use it for and try get the product that's going to do everything you need without spending more than what you need to. So I wanted an iPad for a tablet, I wanted an iPad experience, but I don't need to upgrade to an Air or a Pro because as nice as those devices are, they don't really offer that much more for what I'm going to use it for. So I'm going to be happy with the 10.9-inch regular iPad. As much as the keyboard folio case would be nice to use, I want to use this as a tablet, and that case is going to add more weight. It's going to make it a bit more cumbersome, and then it's going to add almost 50% to the price, and I can always buy it later. So it's not really going to do much for me because I have a laptop and I want this as a tablet. So I'm going to go no keyboard, and then I don't have anything to trade in. So I'm going to go no trade in. And this brings down my price to 678 Australian dollars with that education discount and the Apple Pencil included. And I'm just going to jump over to the Apple website, and we'll stay in the education store, but we're going to jump on the iPad section. So if I go into the shop iPad options, what we'll see here is that, well, the iPad that I've just configured for myself is the base model for $678. And then if you wanted to buy a base model iPad Air or an iPad Pro, the iPad Pro is still more than double the amount of this base model iPad Air. They're both essentially 11 inches. And even though the iPad Pro is thinner, lighter, and it's got a nicer display and more processing power, it's still running the same operating system. So I would much rather save my money, and this regular iPad is going to do everything I need it to do with, more than half the price off of the new iPad. So I'm going to go ahead and hit buy. We're going to pick this thing up, and happy days. So if you're looking at buying an iPad for yourself or somebody that you love and want to get them a present, I would recommend definitely checking out the base model iPad, because I think right now, with the new price on it, as well as the education pricing, it is the best value iPad by far. And them having the same operating system, iPad OS, is the base model all the way up to the Pro. Really, for most people, this product is more than enough for them. You may be interested in jumping up to that 256 gig if you're going to store a lot of things on the device. I'm going to use iCloud for basically all my storage, so I'm going to stick with the base model as well. So before we go ahead and pick it up, I am going to go on the next page here, and it does give you a few options like adding in a smart folio, a pencil, or a keyboard. We've obviously already got the pencil in our bag. This smart folio here, the ones from Apple are really nice, and you might want to get a case to protect your iPad, but they're also really quite expensive. So this one's 130 bucks. I'm going to pick one up off Amazon or from just a phone store for about $30. Again, because this is just to protect your iPad. And we're trying to buy something for the cheapest possible price without losing any functionality. Cool. So let's go ahead and review this bag here. So we can see here we've got our iPad, we've got our pencil, and that brings us to our total of $678. And we're going to hit the checkout button. So I just got back from the Apple store, and I picked up, of course, the iPad along with the Apple Pencil. While I was there, I did have a play around with the new iPad Pro, and I can tell you that this device was definitely the right choice, especially for the money. So there you guys have it. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm not upgrading to the latest M4 iPad Pro. I'm getting the base model because I think it is an awesome, awesome machine for the price. So if you're looking at buying an iPad for yourself or for someone that you love as a present, I would recommend definitely consider what they're using it for and trying to get the most viable product that's going to do everything they need without spending more than you have to. In my opinion, this base model iPad will suit about 80% of people out there, and you're spending less than half the price of the new iPad Pro. Of course, if you like this video, let me know by giving it a thumbs up. And if you're in a supercharged Raise Your Computer, hit that subscribe button as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
In the wild, where the trees sway, there's a fox by the gate.